going to have a great time getting to know you, but so any support you need for teacher induction throughout your stint with us, I am your contact person. And if I don't know the answer to what you need, I certainly know where to point you to. So please do not feel free, please feel free to reach out to me either by email or text at any time. And all of my contact information is in that slide deck that I just gave you. And that's all I'm going to say about me for now, because I'm sure you're going to. So let's learn a little bit about each other. And while I'm trying to figure out how to work this PowerPoint, I will say that sometimes coaching feels like a pretty lonely job, because we have to be so confidential with our folks' stuff, right? So you take a lot of your person's burden on, because you're like, who am I going to tell? And that's what's so great about this, is creating this network of coaches who you do have support through, right? Because coaching can be hard sometimes. So we will always do a connecting activity, and that's what we're going to do now. So let me kind of explain what's going to happen. It's kind of like a two-step thing. The first thing is, in your candidate's orientation, one of the questions we ask them to answer for us is to give us 5 at most defining moments that made them choose a career in education. So I'm giving you guys the same question. So what defining moments brought you here to this new induction training course? Like, what made you want to be a coach? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to push you into breakout rooms. Take some think time. Take 5 or 6 minutes or so, and just set up right now. This is what I'm going to do. We're going to take 5 minutes in this main room to give you some think time. And then I will push you into breakout rooms. Introduce yourself, who you are, brief bio, that kind of good stuff. And then kind of talk about your defining moments and what do you hope to gain today from our time together. Okay, so this is going to be 15 minutes total. I'm going to give you 5 minutes on the clock now to have that think time. Please, please, please feel free during think times like this to turn off your camera. I know I always feel weird when I leave my camera on, because I feel like people are staring at me thinking, and it's awkward. So if you want to turn your camera off, feel free. And then when the timer goes off in 5 minutes, I will push you into your breakout rooms. Okay. All righty. I'll see you in 5. You guys learn great and fun things about your colleagues. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Was there at least one person in every room that nobody knew? So you made new connections? Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's jump in further now. Tell me know that why I can't work a computer. I don't know. Here we go. A lot of you that know me know we cannot do a coach training of any sort without thinking about Ubuntu. And for those of you that do not know what Ubuntu is, you will hear it a lot from me. But what it is the African philosophy about I am because you are. And that's what it means. So we have to be human together. I cannot be human without you. You cannot be human without me. And together, what is good for me is good for you, is the idea. So I've got about 1,002 of these videos and articles. So you will see a lot throughout your time in induction, but we're going to start with this one tonight. This is a video about 10 years old now. Obviously, Desmond Tutu. I'm not sure. Am I sharing my screen? Oh, okay. All right. So as you can see on your screen, Desmond Tutu is, we'll watch this. It's a 3-minute video, but I really feel it's important to center all of our work, especially in education and coaching, in humanity. And I don't think that we do it enough. So today we'll listen to Desmond Tutu. That video, I know, doesn't have the greatest sound quality, but I love when he says we're human because we enter into relationships, because we do this. And I think so often we forget that part in education, because we're like, go, 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 go. Here's your new initiative. Here's your new this. Here's your new that. Do your assessment, blah, blah, blah. All this non-human piece. And that's the beautifulness of coaching. It allows us to be human with our little baby teachers who don't know anything yet. It allows us to show them a piece of humanity right at the beginning of their careers. So Huge job, wonderful job. I'm glad you're all here to do it with me. And any thoughts about Ubuntu? Is this new to anybody? Kind of.
This is very new to me, but it feels like it fits.
Yeah.
Just life in general, you know. I was thinking about my neighbor just now and the relationship I have with her. She lives alone, and I feel like I'm not connected to her on a daily basis. I'm unfulfilled as a neighbor, as a friend, etc. So it hit home.
Good. That's beautiful, Loretta. I love it. All right. I came across this in a training years ago and have like really centered my work and my life in it since. And it's been the hugest difference. So sometimes we should slow down and remember we're human together. Okay, so I guess we can jump into some work now since we had our fun time. Here is our agenda. Now, these trainings are so loaded with information that a lot of them are going to be just me telling you stuff, which I'm sorry, it's not usually my jam, but I promise, I will make it as funny, as entertaining as I can, even though I'm giving you information. So it is a 3-part. That comes later. Tonight, we're going to go over the year at a glance, what a candidate's whole year of induction will look like. We're going to look at the Canvas overview. That's our learning management system. The handbook, the resources, the ILP, which is the individualized learning plan that your teachers will do. And then we'll look at your coach logs. So let's jump in because we have a ton to cover. All right, so we have a ton of links. I mean, our PCOE credential programs just loves links. And everybody likes these different ways. So they're in here different ways depending on how you need them and want them. All of these links are on our website, which you will get or you already have. But also, this is a list of them. So you can come back to this slide and get them. Or they're also linked on the slides that we're actually going to use these documents on. However you learn, do, my friends. If you learn better by opening everything, or if you function better by opening everything right now, do it. If you look at it and you're like, that's a lot, Miller, do it one at a time. Whatever you need is fine. But they are all there for you. The one thing I am going to ask you to click on now, though, is this training sign-in sheet. It's linked in the upper left-hand corner, and I will throw it in the chat also. Why aren't you opening? It's probably opening like behind some weird window. Goodness gracious. See, I knew it was there somewhere. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Oh, thank you, Erica. You're just going to put your last name, first name, district, and email, and then you're going to click the little box that you were here today. And then that's kind of a cover our butt thing because these trainings are required by, I mean, they're going to be helpful and entertaining, but they're also required by CTC. So we got to get our little sign-in sheet in.
Jessica, we can see your screen, but we're unable to see the document that you're currently on. So you're sharing your screen, but we're not on whatever you're
Jamie, I love you. Thank you.
And can you put the link in the chat? Oh, there it is. Oh, no, it's not there yet.
It's coming. It's coming. Let me fix my sharing real quick. I don't know what happened there. Try this. Are you able to document now? Okay. I'm going to throw this link in the chat as well. Here it comes. And I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And I'm going to get this PowerPoint up while you're doing that. Okay, can you guys see the presentation now? Okay, so that's your links. There is a link for a Jamboard on your list of links, and it's also linked right here. As we go through the training, any question that comes up for you, please feel free to dump it on the Jamboard on a Post-it, and we have time at the end of every session to kind of go through that Jamboard. But if there's a question that you're like spinning on and you can't, like we can't go, you need to ask it right now, please feel free to ask it right now. Interrupt me, whatever you need to do. I cannot see my chat when I'm in presentation mode though. So just use your little hand raising icon if you have a question that you would like answered right now. Any questions on the Jamboard? Have we all used Jamboard already? Or before, I should say? I think we've all used all of these things through COVID now. It's like none of them are new to us anymore. All right, so our orientation is a 3-part series. Today, you're at the first one. We're going to do an overview. September 21st, we're going to go into the inquiry cycle. And then in November, we'll go into wrapping up and transitioning to the third or the second cycle. The reason we've broken it up like this now, we used to have it like 3 nights in a row, but you don't get really to the ILP till about September anyway. And so then we'd have these 3 like full pack trainings. And then by the time you guys got to September, you're like, I don't know what to do. So we split them up. And so let me know at the end of the year if that works, but it seemed to work better last year. Coaches didn't seem to be as overwhelmed. And then observation and feedback, there is a week in November and a week in January that I will meet with each of you individually in one of those weeks and observe you, coaching, do feedback and that kind of thing. So it's kind of like individualized training in one of those 2 weeks. So you'll get an invite from me when it gets closer. And it's only one. So if I meet with you in November, I'm not going to meet with you in January. It's just one of them. Where's my button? Where's my button? Here we go. And then professional development for coaches. Again, this is another CTC requirement that we have to have professional development, which professional development is never bad. And I think it's great that you guys are getting actual like coaching PD because we so often get like teaching PD, which not quite the same thing. So Coach Institute is required within your first year. I see some faces in here that have been we have another session in January, and then we have another session next August. So you can do any of those that you want, but it is required within your first year. We also offer Advanced Coach Institute and Coaching for Equity. These are optional for you guys, but if you would like to attend, I will give you a coupon code for those since you're PCOE. Well, I mean, some of you are district coaches, but since you coach for PCOE, we no longer have coach meetings. We took those away last year and we replaced them with a coach newsletter followed by office hours. We're just trying to limit the amount of meeting time we had. So make sure that you read that newsletter when it comes out. If you did not get a newsletter in August, please email Shelly Hallowell to add you to the distribution list for that. And then there are 7 network meetings throughout the year, coach network meetings. This is actually the PD. It's not really a meeting, it's a network. You have to attend 4 of those. You can choose whichever 4 you want to attend. Makes no difference to me. If you want to attend all of them, that's more of a party, that's great too. And you can pick them based on topic. The topic for that month will come out in the newsletter the first week of every month. So like, I think our first network next month is going to be like getting to know your candidate. If you're like, I've done this for a million years, I don't need this type of training, then you can choose another one to go to. So you can choose them based on topic. And then we offer an in-person version and an online version every month. It's the exact same training. So you don't have to go to both. You just need to pick one. You can come either to Rockland or Auburn, depending on where it's held, network in person, or do it online. Either way is fine, whatever works for you. And then finally, if you have year 2 candidates, and not all of you have or will have year 2 candidates, you do need to attend one of the 3 colloquiums in May. And that is the only time throughout the program that you'll play an evaluator role. And we will get definitely way more into that later. But I always think it's good to let you guys know what the training requirements are before we get started, because it kind of sounds like a lot, but it really is 4 meetings throughout the year, 4 networks throughout the year, and then 1 Coach Institute. So I'm been talking for a minute, so I'm going to pause right here, see if we have any questions. Anything like that? Comments, concerns?
Just something funny, maybe.
I like funny, Loretta.
I just want to know your Dodger image on the previous slide. Tell me more about you.
I am clearly a Dodgers fan. And so there's not very many of us up here. I was born and raised in LA, and I've only been here 2 years. Are you too, Kim? Oh my God, I've never had two in a room before. I love
Me
it.
too. Me too. Me too, Kim. I didn't know that about you, Kim. Yay. Yay for us
Oh,
all.
Katie down here too. Oh, this is my favorite cohort yet. Amazing. But when I think series, I always think of the series that they win, which is a lot. So that's why the Dodgers are up there. They winners. I hope there's no Giants. I knew it, Katie. I knew somebody was going to do it. I knew.
Gotta be
Dodgers are not
honest.
very popular up
Giants
here,
fan,
I know they're
Giants
not.
fan.
but I still like you.
Oh, thank you, Katie.
But I still like you because you like baseball. I knew I liked you.
I knew I liked you. So funny.
It's true. Baseball is awesome.
Baseball's so fun. And I hate hot dog. I'm only going off track. And yes, actually, Loretta, you will get tidbits like that in all of my training, because I figure if I have to do this job, I'm going to make it fun. So we're going to do a lot. You'll see that a lot. All right.
Just trying to
Awesome.
keep it light, Jessica. Just keeping it light.
Oh, girl, that's my jam. I like to keep it light. Telling you, if we have to work at 5 o'clock at night or whatever it is, we're going to have a good time. All right. So let me give you our 30,000-foot view of the whole program. So we serve most of the Placer County districts and organizations, including charter schools. We service candidates in Nevada County. We service candidates in Sierra and Plumas counties. The only district in Placer County we do not currently serve is Eureka. So all of the other 15 districts and all of the charters, including Horizon, JAA, I'm sure there's more I'm not thinking of. So we have a lot. We're looking at over 400 candidates this year. So we have a pretty big program. It is a fee-for-service program, meaning that it's not free for the candidates. However, that being said, all of our public school districts currently this year and most of our charters pick up the cost for their candidates. So even though it's not free, it is free to the candidate. That is not true of some of our private schools and some of our charter schools. Some of our teachers in those schools have to pay for the program themselves. We are always continuing to improve and grow. So we're making adaptations to the program all the time. And then we also do our leadership in our program is also part of a regional calibration, kind of collaboration with neighboring counties such as YOLO and PCOE and all of those. So we have a lot of folks for sure. And kind of the general requirements is, this is for a candidate, for year one candidates and for year two transfer candidates, meaning they did their induction year one in another county, whether it was PCOE or down south or wherever, they have to do an orientation. That orientation is completely self-paced and online. I'm sorry, on Canvas. And they have to show evidence of mastery of CSDPs. Every month, okay, so the language in the standards says an average of not less than 1 hour per week of individualized support, which is your coaching. The way we've broken it down is that is approximately 32 hours per calendar year. But we also know that we live in a world with other humans who have other pressures and other things going on, right? So if it works for your candidate to do 2 hours in 1 week and then not see you for a week, cool. Like whatever works, as long as we're hitting that 32 hours. An example of that I do with my own candidates, because I still coach as well, is like observations are counted as coaching hours. So you go to a classroom, you observe the classroom. It feels awfully weird to me to leave that classroom and not follow up with that teacher for a full week. Like, so for me, the weeks I do a formal observation, I will debrief with them either right after or the day after. So that week already has 2 hours in it, right? So then I have some candidates that are like, oh, cool, I get next week off. And then I have other candidates that are like, are you still coming next week? So whatever they need, but just know it's not a set in stone 1 hour per week. Whatever works for you and your candidate is fine. And then year 2 candidates have to attend the colloquium in April or May. So our candidates are only attending 2 meetings per year, and one of them is self-paced, the orientation and the colloquium. So I'm going to pause right here and let you process all of that. If you have questions. Julie and Jamie, I'm extra happy to see you two here. Thank you for being here.
Sorry, I was late. I had another meeting.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. We have returning coaches joining us just for a refresher, and I'm always happy to see them. So
Happy to be here.
yay. Hi, Jamie. And Jamie's always my great tech person. She knows much more than I do. Jess, push this button. Okay, we can do that. All right. All right. This looks like a lot. But I'm going to break it down. It's going to be super easy. And honestly, this is not information you have to memorize, but it's kind of good information to know just to kind of see how everything's fitting together. So the 5 entities within a candidate's induction experience is the candidate and the coach. But then above that, there's like a whole lot of bureaucratic wheels turning, right? So it all starts with the Commission on Teaching Credentialing. They approve and accreditate all state programs. So we are accredited through the state. We just got accredited not last year, but the year before. So we're good. We're in the 7-year cycle right now. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing will oversee all the activities within a credential program. They are also the ones that adopt the induction standards. So you'll see through a lot of the documents that we work through tonight and through this series, everything has a standard on it. CTC develops all of those. They obviously issue credentials, and then they collect data from us, what feels like an awfully lot. So that is what the CTC does. The program is us. And I didn't realize until this week, a lot of people were confused by our name LLC. LLC is not a limited liability corporation. I mean, it is, but not in our terms. It stands for Learning and Leadership Collaborative. And what that is a fancy name for all of our credential programs. So, and we are housed obviously under PCOE. So those are our kind of duties. We have to provide reports. We have to meet regional teams, recruit, select, match, and evaluate coaches. That's you. Provide ongoing training and PD to coaches. And then when a teacher is ready to get their credential, we will submit that recommendation. You can see the district or principal has roles in this that they're expected to follow as well. And then coach, we're going to go through all of these, but that's kind of the biggies. I put establish and maintain trust first because this process does not work without that. And then the candidate only has 2 little pieces in this whole machine. So we are all working together to make sure that not only are we able to credential equity-driven teachers that are going to give safe environments to all kids, we also want to do it in a way that they're not feeling super overwhelmed and like they hate the system. We want them leaving in 2 years thinking, hey, I could do this job, right? Any questions on this? I went through it super quick. I see your faces. You're like, Jess, you went that so quick. I don't even know what to ask. That's okay. That's okay. Again, I just wanted to give you guys the big overview picture of all the little pieces. Okay, so the way these preconditions and program standards work, each unit has one set of common standards. Then within each program is one set of preconditions, and then each program has one set of program standards. So we have 5 programs housed in PCOE. Teacher induction is one of them. We have 4 others besides this program. So we have 5 sets of standards altogether, different for each program. Every single thing that we do in the program is aligned to standards from the CTC. Another thing we're really proud of that we did is we pared down everything that the teacher had to do to the absolute bare minimum required by CTC. So we really do not want them to overwhelm it. We've overwhelmed them. We've really designed it to really, everything that they need to do can be done with you within those coaching hours. So they should never have to go home like on a Tuesday night after work and sit down and worry about writing a reflection or something like that. We do not want that. That being said, some candidates are like, Katie, I feel really weird typing in front of you. Like, can I just go home and do this tonight? Yes, that's fine if that's what they prefer to do, but they don't have to, right? And oh, I did something weird. I don't know what I did. I can't see it. There we go. But it was really important to us that the focus of their induction program is not the compliance piece, but it's you. It's that human connection. It's really getting them through the first years, you being their emotional support, because we know a lot of tears come in that first year of teaching, right? So just really having somebody to help them, the compliance piece will follow. All right. We get some think time. So you saw in the part of the program's responsibility is to, I don't remember the wording, recruit, hire, train, and evaluate coaches. The way I really like to evaluate coaches is way more collaborative than observing you and going through some questions with you. I like it to be self-development, right? And coach development. So that being said, in this training every year, we start a goal. Oh, I don't think I can get through one PowerPoint without a typo. Seriously, I looked at this 9 times. For the 22-23 academic year, you're going to make a goal. And then you're going to use this self-assessment form. Jamie and Julie, you did the same thing last night, so just take a break. Share screen. Slideshow from current slide. Oh, there we go. All right. So we are going to now get you set up in Canvas. So this is always tricky. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain this. So all of you looking at the screen, I'm pretty sure all of you should have gotten an email from Shelly with Canvas instructions on how to get in and all of that. Has anybody not received that email?
I have a quick question because somebody else wanted too. Should our the people we're helping, should they have received it by now?
It depends. And let me walk into that. It depends. In fact, there's a section coming later in the training that actually probably fit better here. So let me explain how this all works. So when you guys are hired as coaches, Shelly will put you into between 1 and 4 Canvas courses. Okay. So on your screen, you'll see getting enrolled. There's 4 courses. There's a coach course. That's just for you guys. There's nothing to submit. It's a keeper of documents, right? And then we have 3 participating teacher courses, year 1, year 2, and transfer. So Ricky, the kind of difficult part of your question is they won't be enrolled in their candidate course until they complete orientation. And so then once they complete orientation and meet with me, then they get put into your whatever course they belong in. So as of now, my first office hours to meet with them is tomorrow. So nobody's even had the opportunity to complete orientation yet. So you're not going to have anybody in your course yet.
So Jessica, is it normal to only have 2 courses listed?
Yeah, if you only have the coach
okay.
course like year 1, yeah. That just means that as of right now, you don't have any year 2 or transfer on your roster.
Okay.
Let's see what else about that. Okay, so if you are since we're now at a point starting tomorrow where candidates can start to finish orientation and get enrolled in their courses, if it's been like a week or 2 weeks and you're still not seeing your people, ask them, have you done the orientation course? Have you gotten the orientation course? Because Shelly is really, really, really good at enrolling them in their orientation course the day she gets their application. So they should all be in their orientation course already if we have their application. So just kind of gently nudge, like, hey, have you done your orientation? Because I don't see you yet. Because you won't see them until that happens. And then finally, speaking of candidates, we have, like I said, we're going to have over 400 this year, and I only see them twice a year. So it's hard for me to know who they are. So if you can please encourage them to, and there, I asked them this in orientation too, but to put a real like face shot as their picture instead of like their family or their dogs or the beach, which are all wonderful and beautiful, but it doesn't help me connect who they are when I'm looking at their canvas. So that would be super helpful. All right, before I go on to the next slide, I do have one more question. So everybody has gotten their invitations to their courses. Has everybody been able to log into them? Stop playing with my emotions all. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. I usually give 10 minutes of this training to make sure like you have time to log in and all that, but it sounds like.
Hey, Jessica, are we sure the Giants fan got in?
Oh, the Giants fan. Oh, she's right there.
Who, me?
No, Katie's a Giants fan.
Oh, because I am too. So.
Oh, are you a Giants fan too? Okay, Giants fan. I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you.
Maybe we can have a whole PCOE tip coach outing when the Dodgers play the Giants in San Francisco. We can get like a van and just go.
I'm in. Our
Dodgers shirts or our Giants
shirts.
I'm gonna organize this.
There you go.
Organize a bunch of teachers at the ballpark with.
Let's do it with our mitts.
I'm done. He's so fun. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, since everybody seems to have already gotten into Canvas, I don't have to give you that time to get into Canvas. So we are going to skip these 3 slides, which is amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm in, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So.
Well, that's good because my plan was to give you guys all time to get in, and then we're going to share the screen to walk through what you're doing.
Got it.
If everybody's in, then we can just start walking through what this looks like for our candidates. So let me pull up Canvas. Now, here's another tricky thing. Everything in life, I think, just has to be tricky for us for some reason. So cool. I kind of revamped a lot of the Canvas course and the ILP this year, just based on feedback from candidates, feedback on coaches, like what was working, what wasn't. So this is a really weird leap year kind of, where our year 1s and our year 2s are going to be working on 2 different canvases and 2 different ILPs. Now for your candidates, this is absolutely no big deal because our year 1s, they've never seen our program. They don't know it's different, right? Year 2s are doing exactly the same thing they did last year. The burden of this choice goes on to the coaches because you may be working on 2 different ILPs. Like if on your roster, you have some year 1s and some year 2s, you'll be working on 2 different ILPs. But the why behind this decision that we made was it's going to be much easier for me to support you guys through that than to support 400 teachers individually who are trying to learn a new system. So we're just in this gap year where it is. And the good thing is that there isn't a whole lot of changes. It's not like it's a whole brand new document. There's just little tweaks here and there. So all of that being said, I'm going to show you the year 1 stuff first because most of you are going to have year 1s because we do like to keep our year 2 people with the same coaches if we can. So on your dashboard, I'm going to show you both what you're going to see when you log in and then what your candidate is going to see when they log in. Of course, almost all the way at the bottom. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be talking a lot. Again, please do not worry about interrupting me, calling out. But remember, I can't see the chat. So if you have a question, raise your hand or speak out is fine. All right. So this is the homepage that you are going to see when you log into Canvas, which you guys have probably already seen if you're in this course. Your students will see it like, come on, computer. This. So they don't have that side menu that you guys have. So when they log in, they only see the buttons.
And real quick, is this just for year one? It's not year two people yet?
Yeah, so this is the new format for year one.
Okay.
The content's the same.
Okay.
The content's the same, but the format's different.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so everything is buttons in the new format. So when they click on a button, so let's say they're clicking on getting started, they click on it, it takes them directly to the getting started module. Everything is either two icons in Canvas. You've either got this little icon with like the pen and paper, pencil and paper icon. This one, something has to be done there. There's some sort of something that they need to upload. And then if it's just a page without a pencil or a pen or whatever it is, that's just information. There's going to be nothing for them to upload there. But every single module is going to have a page with instructions on what to do in the module. And it will have screenshots if it's needed. And they will all have a video tutorial on how to do that particular.
Hello, PCOE. It's Jessica again with another tutorial.
So there's the video, there's the screenshots, and then there's the instructions written out. So we're really tried to remove all those barriers to learning. So there's a lot of ways to get the information. And then there's you, because you guys are going to be so pro at this that you can just walk your candidate straight through it. So they come to the module, and then if it has a little document, that's the clue, or the pen, that's the clue. Oh, something has to be turned in here. So you open it, not you don't open it, your candidate opens it, and they'll see instructions again. Some of these, if it's a more complex task, will also have a video. And then, oh, I have to go to student view. This is what you are going to see. This is your side of what you're going to see for an assignment. Your students will see it this way. Maybe your students will see it this way. The difference between your screen and their screen is you're like, well, where do I actually submit this assignment? They have to hit start assignment. And then once they hit start assignment, it gives them their text entry box. And then they can hit submit assignment and they're good. So we're not going to go through all these assignments right this second, but I did want to give you the layout of Canvas. So then if we go back home, you're like, okay, great. You've done all of your getting started stuff. There's actually only 3 tasks in there. Then you're going to go weeks 1 through 6, and you can see the whole entirety of the 2 years is broken down into 6-week segments. Again, think PLC and 6-week kind of cycles, right? So when you hit that, or when they hit that button, it's going to take them directly to that module for their week 1 through 6 work. And you can see, again, pages are for just directions. And then the little pen means something needs to be uploaded. All of the directions, I'm going to open this one, and I'm not sure if I'm done with the directions yet. So please don't, I think I'm done with this one. Oh, so open it, the assignment's there. Any links they need will be in there. That's all on the page. And then they're going to go back to that. Back to the module and the assignment to submit it. Tracking? Good. All right, what questions do we have about the year one? Just not the assignments in it, but just where kind of how it works. Okay, I'm going to hop to year two then. So if you do have year two folks, you can kind of get an idea of what they're doing. Okay, so this is the homepage for the year two course. You can see it looks very different. It's a lot of text and no buttons. So that's the biggest difference in year one. I'm sorry, in year two. All of this information though is still within the modules. They're just within the buttons. So for your year two folks, they have to go to this modules button. They're not going to navigate from their home button. They're going to navigate from their modules button. They are year twos though, so they are used to doing this for a whole year. They're probably gonna be able to help you navigate Canvas, like they've been in it a lot. So they are going to have to navigate through modules. So their view will not have the buttons. Their view looks like, come on, little computer. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. See, this is what their year two looks like when they come in. They only have 4 options on the side. They're only going to use modules, grades, and then they just have to go to each module. And they're not set up in weeks like year one is now set up. They're set up in tasks. And we found that to be super confusing for a lot of people because they're like, I don't know when I'm supposed to do this task, or I don't know this kind of stuff. So we're hoping that those weeks buttons will kind of clear that up a little bit. And then the other piece of that is we don't have due dates, like hard set due dates, because we're on continuous enrollment. So it's not fair to be like, this is due September 2nd when we have somebody that was not assigned a coach until September 3rd. So that's why the due dates are always 6 weeks from the day they finished orientation. 6 weeks from the day and then another 6 weeks from there. And I am almost done, and we'll roll out to you guys when I am done, a due date generator, because I found that a lot of teachers and coaches are type A personalities. I don't know how that happens. It's like we're drawn to the profession or something, and they really, really, really will feel more comfortable with those actual due dates. So I will make a video when that tool is ready and send it out telling you how to use it with your candidate. If your candidate's one of those people that's like, I have to have a due date, cool, we got you covered. So, and I'm going to pause for questions here.
So Jessica, my understanding is that the teacher candidates are doing all of their work through the computer. So their whatever portfolio they're sort of creating is all on the computer.
Yes.
Okay.
There's nothing written. And you cannot submit on your side, right? Because you guys are all in the courses as teachers. So teachers can't submit. So your candidate is submitting everything. But like I said, all this work can be done within the program. So like you could sit there in a coaching hour and talk about yada, 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 yada in their ILP. They can just upload it right then, but they have to do it.
And so that includes like our notes from observations or the triads and all that stuff too.
Exactly. Exactly. So there are a lot of reflections and things like that. And just as a side note, not in the training, but just like as a tip, when I'm coaching and I'm doing a reflection with my teacher, one of the prescribed reflections on observation or triad or whatever, I will tell them, like, as we reflect, do you mind if I type this out while we're reflecting so that you can just upload it when we're done. Like any little thing you can do to save them time. Because even like thinking about it, even they're so overwhelmed, right? And I remember this feeling, right? Do you guys remember this? So like even asking them to go later and find the document and upload it, that could be like that little straw that breaks the little kindergarten teacher's back, right? So anything that we do to make it easier for them is good. All right, let's see. All right, so that is your down and dirty quick overview of Zoom. Not Zoom, that's not Zoom, that's Canvas. Any questions on Canvas?
Are you going to get more into when they submit something where feedback comes from?
Yeah.
Okay.
I absolutely am. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, I think we actually do that now. I think you were reading the great mind there, Kim. Okay. So Kim just asked the question about review, and I don't know where it is in the slide deck, but I'm going to answer it now. How and when are your candidates reviewed, and who reviews them? So you guys are in 100% non-evaluative role by design. We want you to be able to build that trust and that relationship with your person. So there we have a team at PCOE of, we call them the review team. There's 4 of us. There's me and 3 other people. We split up all of the candidates between the 4 of us. So we will go in at least once a month is our goal this year, to each of your people's canvases, and we'll either mark them complete on whatever assignment it is, or we will mark them incomplete, and we will put in the notes what is making it incomplete so that your candidate knows exactly what needs to be done to make it complete. The things we're changing with this year is your candidate and you will know exactly who your reviewer is. Like if I'm the reviewer assigned to A through M for year 1s, you're going to know that, and you're going to have all of my contact information. Same with the other 3 reviewers. So that way it eliminates the middleman, because before what was happening is they would get a comment on Canvas, and then the teacher or the coach would call me, and then I would have to call the reviewer and be like, what did you mean by that comment? And then I'd have to call the coach and the candidate back. I'm like, this is dumb. This is like bureaucracy. So now there's going to be a direct link between you and the reviewer. I think that's all I have to say on that. Kim, did that answer your question? Where'd you go? Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. Any other questions on the review team or what their role is?
So my understanding is we do not like mark complete for their assignments. It's the reviewers on. Okay.
Right. The reviewers also, the review team consists of actual coaches who have been coaching for PCOE for however many years, I don't even know. But they have offered themselves, this sounds weird, I can't say it like this. I was gonna say offered themselves up as help, but they wanted, you will get all of their information. And if you in your, they want you to be able to connect with them as a new coach and be like, I don't know what to do here. They're great resources. And so all of their information is going to be on Canvas as well. Their names are Mary Romero, Lana Daly, and Patty Hagan. So they will be great sources of support for you guys.
Did you say Lana Daly?
I did. Do you know Lana?
Oh, do I have a history with her? I love that woman.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You made my heart stop for a minute. When you said that, I was going to be like, did you guys get a cat fight? Like, what kind of history are we talking here, Loretta?
No. I just love her to death. She has watched. Oh my gosh. I'm getting chills. I'm so excited that she's working for you guys because I love her so much.
She is so sweet. That is absolutely the correct testimonial.
Is she not working for Sac State anymore? She retired from Sac State?
She's doing both because I don't know, because retirement did not suit her. So she's doing both. Yeah. She's a great lady.
Well, yeah. if you, oh my gosh, we'll talk later.
Text her and tell me you met me now. We'll see what kind of stories come out of that one.
Well, I don't have her phone number, but you should text her and tell her you met me.
I will do that. I will do it. It's going to be good stories coming out of that one too, Loretta.
Pardon?
It's going to be great stories coming out of that one too.
Oh, I think so. I can't wait.
I love it. I love connection.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That's so fun. And the entire education world is so small. It's so weird and amazing. Like when I was a BITSA coach, do you guys remember BITSA? Yeah, right, with the binders. So when I was a BITSA coach down in Riverside County, I coached this phenomenal biology teacher all the way down. So I moved up here a couple years ago And of course, because I'm a Gen Xer, I'm using Facebook still. I put on Facebook, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Placer County and all that. She's like, hey, I teach biology at Lincoln High School. And I'm like, what? Like such a small world. It's so crazy. But that's why we all have to be nice to each other too. So there's that. All right, guys. I'm still sharing my screen. And I know this is an informational meeting where I'm talking a lot more than I usually do. But this piece, I really felt you'll actually learn better with each other than with me just giving you information. And that is the handbook. So instead of me reading you the handbook, I'm going to give you time to look at it and discuss it with your group. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have this set up by a jigsaw, as you can see, the tried and true educator jigsaw, right? If this doesn't work for your group, don't do it. It's fine. Just go through and pull out ahas, overviews, questions, anything like that. See if you can help each other. And then we'll have together time on this when we come back. But I really did feel this was maybe a better approach than just reading it to you for 15 minutes. So the coach handbook is linked in that lots of links slide. So you have access to it. We are going to take 15 minutes for this in your rooms. Organize yourselves any way you want, any way that works for you guys. Use the jigsaw puzzle. Use the jigsaw activity if you want. If you don't want to use the jigsaw activity, know that there's 4 main parts of the handbook: the overview, coaching, teacher, and admin. Okay. And I will pause before I open rooms to make sure we have no questions. Jamie and Julie, I know you're just sitting in today. So do you want to go in rooms, or would you rather just hang out?
I'm open. But I just put in the chat that I came in late, so the link's not in my chat. So I need you to redo it. But I'm open to whatever you want.
I would love for you to be in a room, Julie, just because you've got almost a full year under your belt.
Sure. You gotta either give me the link or throw me in somewhere.
Yep, I'm going to put the link to the whole slide deck in the chat again, if I can find it. Oh my God, I'm just looking at the chat. What an amazing group this is. You guys are like answering questions for me I didn't even know I had. I mean, I didn't even know we're in here. I love all of it. Thank you. Okay, so here's the slide deck again. Julie, all of the links for everything that we're doing tonight are on a slide in there called Lots of Links.
Yep, thanks. Okay, I'm opening now.
Cool. Thanks, Julie. And Jamie, are you good to go in a room? All right. So if you're in a room with Julie or Jamie, you're lucky. Here we go. Breakout rooms, 4, 3, 3, 3. 15 minutes. All right, and I'll be popping in and out. You ignore me unless you have a question. I just want to make sure you guys are okay. And then feel free to use the ask for help button in there and I will pop right in to help you out, okay? There you go.
I didn't end up in a room.
You didn't end up in a room, Julie. I'm gonna fix that right now. I don't know why. Here we go, baby. You're off. I was muted and I couldn't see you guys. So here you are. Here we are. All right. So are there any questions that came up in your groups that we need to answer here or other groups might need to hear or anything like that?
Jess,
I
could
think
you talk a little bit more about the triad meeting, the ILP triad meeting, and what that should look like, and whether we can combine it with their evaluation, with our district evaluation process that has a lot of the same overlap?
Yeah. So are you talking about like the pre-observation they'll have with their principal for their observation?
We actually have a goal setting meeting that's
Oh, yeah.
part of that pre-observation process. Yes.
Yes, it absolutely can be combined with that, and actually works really well when it is combined with that. So generally, the triad does just help you set your goals with your client. So if you're in that goal setting meeting with the principal, you kind of already have that alignment of that goal. And then it also allows the principal to know and understand what induction is, because a lot don't know. So yes, it can be combined is the short answer to that. Was that Karina that asked that?
Yes, and that was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? That was a good one. Well, I'm just going to assume that the handbook is really well written. So I'm going to go with. So I will tell you now too, there is way a lot of information for this meeting. And I know that you guys are like, please know that we know it's a lot of information, and we are always open to you guys for questions. If you're like going through it later and you're like, I know she said something, please feel free to reach out to me. I know that this is absolutely not the way that humans learn, and I'm just trying to like stuff information in your brain right now. So take all the processing time you need. All right, can we see the screen, the slide deck? Beautiful. Okay, so the role of the coach. Coaching is not about you and what has been successful for you in the past. It's about really guiding your teachers to their best self and to facilitate their self-reflection. Because we know as educators, although we're getting much better as an industry, we still don't have a lot of self-reflection time. We don't often be given a coach for free to help us and all of that. So they have 2 years with you to be able to guide them from baby teacher stage to real teacher stage, right? So that being said, when we're coaching brand new teachers like this, a lot of our coaching is going to be directive coaching, or we are going to be mentoring versus coaching, because we can't coach around everything. It takes too long. So let me give you an example. Like, let's say that your teacher is struggling in lesson planning, and they are also struggling in classroom management. Those tend to be two that beginning teachers will struggle in a lot. We can't coach around both of those, because when we're questioning in coaching, we are waiting for our person to come up with their own solutions, right? We're giving them the questions. That works, but it takes a long time. So we can't coach around both of those. We also know that brand new teachers out of student teaching or out of an internship need to work on all 6 of the CSDPs. Like, they're not proficient in any of them yet, right? We cannot coach around all of those. So we're going to have to flip back and forth between advice giving or mentoring and coaching. So in the example with classroom management and lesson planning, I would say, okay, do you mind if I coach you in lesson planning? We can coach you through this throughout the year. Now for classroom management, can I give you a few pieces of advice that worked for me when I was teaching 3rd grade or whatever it is, right? But making that clear distinction of, I'm giving you advice right now, hint, hint, and I'm coaching you right now, which means I'm not going to be giving you any answers, right? So if you go back and forth between these, your person's brain will kind of go, okay, I'm thinking now, she's asking me questions, the brain flips, right? It's very similar if you've been through coach training, that idea of we're asking permission to coach. What we're doing in induction is we know they have a lot to work on. What's going to be our focus in coaching? What's going to be our goal on our ILP? That's what we're going to coach on. Everything else that these little baby teachers need, it's going to be advice, right? It's going to be mentoring. And there's nothing wrong with mentoring at all. It's great. I've had a mentor my whole career. But just understanding the difference between what our goal is in mentoring versus coaching, right? So support good, evaluation bad. We are not evaluating our people at all because that's going to break any trust that you have built with them. And it's also the beautiful thing of having a coach is that you are peers, right? That's the beautiful thing with coaching. So that's your role. And we will, through the networks, the way the networks work is we learn one skill as coaches, we'll learn one new skill, we'll practice that skill together, and then we'll take that skill to our coaching. So you're really throughout the year going to be able to delineate, is what I'm doing right now a coaching move, or is what I'm doing right now a mentor move? And again, both are necessary, both are fine, just different. Questions or comments on that? All right, technical stuff. If you have not already, you will be receiving a coach log from Shelly with your candidates on it. All of your candidates from both years will be on the same form. So you're only gonna have one coaching form. I'm gonna pull up mine as I talk through this so that you can see what it looks like. I used to have it in my bookmark. Well, I used to have mine in my bookmarks bar. I don't know where it went, but I keep it in my bookmarks bar because I use it quite a bit. So it is a Google form. That's CASC. That's CASC. Teacher induction. Okay, so you're going to get it from Shelly, and it looks like this. It's going to have coaching log, and it's going to have your name. You're going. Oh, no. No. That's not the one you fill out. No. Oh, no. Okay, I'm so sad. It's not pulling up the like normal. I will use, I'm going to be able to see all of these. Okay. Switch pedagogy, right? How many times do I have to do this in our classrooms? All right, I apparently can only pull up the editor side of this. So I need you to use your little imaginations for a moment. I'm sure all of you have seen Google Forms before. Jamie, do you have a way to fix it? How do I fix it?
I was going to say there's a way to go in. So if you click on one of the forms, we can look at it through the preview options.
Yes. How do I do that?
Okay, excellent. So what you can do is just click on the eye. So that's one option. So on your right
on this eye?
Yep.
I just learned something new. Thanks, Jamie.
More than welcome.
Jamie, I need you to come to all my trainings from now on, whether you need them or not. I'll pay you. I'll pay you.
Backup.
Yeah, I need a backup. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. This is what your coach log is going to look like. It's going to look just like this. You're going to choose your teacher. All of your teachers will be listed here. So whether you have 2 teachers or 10 teachers, they're all going to be listed. You're just going to pick your teacher. And I actually met with Taylor today, so I'm going to pick her because I have not logged her hours yet. So we pick the teacher, we hit next, and then you can see you're given this plethora of options, right? I met with Taylor today, so it's today's date. In the world now that we live in, we are counting face-to-face meetings and online meetings to be the same thing. So whether you meet with your candidate on Zoom or you walk to their classroom and meet them in their classroom, either way, it's going to be a face-to-face meeting. Okay. So you can see the time increments across the top and everywhere from 15 minutes to, I think it goes up to 2 hours right here. Generally, coach meetings are an hour. So that's right there in the middle. Sometimes maybe half an hour, whatever the time may be, right? You can also see down here, we have observation. So do you remember a few minutes ago me telling you, like, if I do an observation, I'll often debrief with them the same day. So what I would do there, because the debrief is going to be a face-to-face meeting, but the observation is clearly an observation. So I would click both. So that's going to give me a total of 2 hours for that day, right? Modeling or co-teaching has an option. So if you do anything like that, the amount of time, all of these are counted in those 32 hours a year. All of these options. Phone call support, let me explain coordinated support. So let's say that your teacher is struggling with his or her EL students, and you're not maybe an EL expert. So you say, I think it'd be super helpful if you were to meet with our district EL person, our district EL coordinator, or whoever it is. That would be coordinated support. So the hour that your teacher spent with the EL person or the MTSS person or whoever it may be, you're counting that as coaching hours as well. So that's going to go in coordinated support. There is a place here for the triad. You're only going to have one triad a year, so you're only going to use that button one time a year. The two I'm going to give you little tips or tricks on. My little tips or tricks that I've learned in my time. This email and text communication. You build a lot of rapport with your people. You become friends. So they will text you at 8 o'clock at night and be like, this parent won't leave me alone, or whatever happens, right? And you're texting them back. I could not, for my mind, calculate that all anymore. So what I do for this email text communication piece is at the first of the month, I put an hour for every candidate, because I couldn't be like, I spent 20 seconds sending this email and 30 seconds responding to this. It was too much for me. So I estimated. You can too, or if you're a super detailed person and you want to keep those kind of records, you could do that too. But just know there's options in that one. And the other one down at the very bottom where it says PT canceled or no show, I understand that teachers get busy and there's going to be times when they're like, hey, I have to stop on my prep, or, you know, I just can't meet with you today. I have to go sit in my car and cry. Whatever they need to do, right? There's going to be times when they're not going to want to meet with you. I give them grace on that. I don't start to use the PT canceled or no show button until they're consistently canceling time after time again. Because at the end of the day, induction is their responsibility. And you're there to support them, help them. But if they're refusing to come to any coaching meeting because they're busy and they don't meet their 32 hours and cannot get cleared, we need a record of that somewhere. So if you have a teacher that's continually like, I can't meet, or you show up at the school if you're an offsite coach and they're gone or anything like that, start using this PT canceled or no show just at 0 hours. All right. Okay. The second part of the coach log, this is the coach log, is a actual spreadsheet. And so Shelly maintains this spreadsheet. You will have access to it too. And you can see all of your responses that you put in your form will come to this page 1. So you can see all of your folks all the way across, right? But it also tabulates specific tabs for each of your candidates on the bottom. So we can see I just put in an hour, or now I'm going to have to fix hers because I did not spend 2 hours with her. Let me fix that now. Actually, I should mention this one here. You do not always have to pick a CSTP. Like, this was my first meeting today with Taylor for the year. So we literally met at Starbucks, had a latte, and I caught up on her trip from LA and learned about her first 2 weeks of school. We did not cover any induction stuff. I'm just going to leave that blank. Okay. Did you provide support in the area of equity or diversity? You can leave it blank. But if your conversation centers around anything about equitable outcomes for kids, click that box. Like today, I could actually click this box for Taylor because she's already got it. She's already got a knucklehead senior in her classroom that's trying to aggravate her, right? So we talked a little bit about how she could build that relationships, which is part of culturally responsive pedagogy, which is equity. So I could mark that for her today. And Taylor's like 22 and 90 pounds wet, and this senior boy is just so mean to her. And I'm like, Taylor, get your power, girl. Get your power. Come on. And then this one, if your meeting is ILP, you're going to hit yes. But again, this is only once a year. So I submit and it says boom. And you can do other responses if you want to. When we look at our spreadsheet, each candidate has their own tab. If we go to Taylor's tab, we could see my entry from today. And then we can see her total amount of coaching over here. Right? Okay. We ask that, well, first of all, we really like to pay you guys on time. And for district coaches, I know this doesn't affect you as much, but for PCOE coaches, you get paid 4 times a year. And we like to pay you on time. So we need to have these coach logs updated by the 5th of every month to get your check. Oh, we only have 20 minutes left. Okay. Any questions on the coach log? Thank you again, Jamie. That was a much better demonstration when I could show them exactly what this was going to look like. I appreciate you, girl. All right. Let's go to what's coming next, because I know this is a lot of question. So our participating teacher assignments trickle in between the beginning of August, end of July, beginning of August through mid-September is when we get the bulk of our applications from districts. So we are at the mercy of them for when we can match coaches because we don't know who's coming. Again, if you're a district coach, your process is a little bit different, but generally that's what happens. So when I get applications from districts, the way I match coaches is as follows. So the first, if the district has district coaches, i.e. Rockland, JAA, Rothos, Roseville Joint, any of those, that's a district request. You guys are employed by the district. They are going to assign you. I just say, cool, send me the list, and they send me the list all matched. Outside coaches, so outside meaning PCOE coaches. The first thing I'm going to look at is a credential match, right? Like I can't put a general ed coach with a special ed person. So I look at credential match. Third, is there already a coach match at that site? Because I'll always ask coaches what their geographical preference is. So if they say, hey, I really want to stay in Roseville, I'll make sure I'll only send them matches with Roseville. So then, okay, so let's say I had a candidate at Cooley Middle School who I assigned to Kim. I know, Kim, you're not a Roseville coach, but I'm going to use you because I'm looking at you. And I assigned her to Kim. And Kim emails me back and she goes, yay, I'd love to take the teacher at Cooley. And so I say, great. And we match those teachers. Say in another week, I get another application for a Cooley person. The first person I'm going to email is Kim since she's already going there, right? So then Kim's going to tell me, yeah, I'm already going there. I'll add this person, or no, I really only have the capacity for this one. And then I'll go down the line. And then the fourth is the proximity to the caseload. So if we have somebody at Cooley and Kim's like, yeah, I want Cooley. And then I have somebody at Chilton, I'll email Kim because I know she's already in Roseville. So that's the way the matching works. It's contract work. I put on there every year. There's no guarantee from year to year, but I have always never had a problem matching coaches. I always have excess teachers that I do coaches. So I put that on there to cover my butt, but really that's not really a thing. You'll get teachers every year. Questions on that? Okay. I'm doing a bunch of matching tomorrow and Friday. So I'm hoping to send some more coach matches out by Friday. Your candidates go through orientation. It is self-paced. The 5 defining moments I had you guys do at the beginning of this, they do in their orientation. And then they go through a series of activities, and then they meet with me, and that's the whole orientation. It's not super overwhelming for them. Once that's all complete, they're enrolled in your course. I don't know who in here took the TPA as a preliminary. Do you remember this awfulness? Yeah. So our teachers still have to take it. And during COVID, Governor Newsom put out an executive order saying that teachers could go into the classroom without finishing the TPA, which was great at the time. We knew we needed them. Testing centers were closed. It was a whole thing. But now we're really feeling the backlash of that because they're coming to our induction program without TPA done. And we cannot clear their credential until they finish their TPA. So a lot of our folks are not only working on induction, but also their TPA. So they'll be working with me directly if they have to have a TPA. We know who these folks are already, but if it's one of your folks that needs a TPA, gently put your friendly mama bear coach love on them and tell them to get their shit done. Because if they do not get it done, we cannot give them a clear credential. So that's the whole thing. So if you guys can help me out with that, that would be great. And that's the same with RICA. The governor's executive order was for TPA and RICA. So we have a lot of teachers in the classroom right now that have not finished RICA yet. And it's been years since they took their RICA course at this point. So if any of those babies are yours, I don't expect you to support them in TPA and RICA, but if you can support them by like, hey, I noticed there was a RICA class tonight. Are you going? Hint, 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 wink, wink. That kind of thing. That would be fantastic. Because I'm getting stressed for them. So before we meet again in September, I am sure that you guys are going to want to get started on your folks. So this is the kind of deeper into the getting started phase of induction of Canvas. The first thing you have is the triad and reflection. It's the supervisor, it's the evaluator. Like Karina mentioned, if you can combine this with the goal meeting, that is a great practice to do. And plus, it eliminates another meeting for the principal and the teacher, which is great. Oh, look, it's even already in there. I didn't even realize it was even typed in there. How amazing. That's cool. And then a lot of principals aren't aware of the ins and outs of induction. So answer any of the questions you can for them, but also feel free if they have questions that you don't know the answers to, feel free to give them my phone number or email, and I'm happy to help them out. I'm going to skip the units for now because we're short on time and that's not something that has to be done right now. The context for teaching activity has to be done before the cycle starts. All of the directions are in there. There is a video. I wish we had more time to go, but I knew we weren't going to. Back in the old BITSA days, we had to do all of the context for teaching. I don't know if these young teachers knew what we went through, but we had to do all of these contexts for teachings, right? Now they only have to choose one. So that Canvas page I showed you with the context for teaching on it, they only have to choose one. When you are starting your candidate in the beginning of the year, I highly, highly, highly suggest you encourage your teacher to do the beginning of the school context for teaching. But at the end of the day, they can choose anyone that they would like to work on. And then finally, your initial observation and reflection. The initial observation and reflection is one of the 3 formal observations of the year. And it causes some confusion sometimes because we're calling it formal, but it really might be the first time you're observing them. And it really is just to get the baseline of what's happening in their classroom. And it allows you to collect data as well, right? Okay, I got 14 minutes. I'm gonna keep talking. Keep talking. So initial observation. This is the only observation that we have a required observation template, which is in Canvas. Every other observation that you do throughout the entire 2 years of your candidate's induction, you can use whatever type of observation form you would like to, as long as it's collecting data for their goal, right? So if their goal is engagement, if you're using an observation form that is somehow observing for engagement, you're cool. The initial observation is the only one we require because it really is just an overview of what's happening in the classroom. You're not focusing on one particular thing. And then on the reflection, this is super hard because we have to give honest feedback for them to grow, but they're also like exactly 3 weeks into a brand new career. So like just being gentle with the feedback and really giving constructive feedback on what they can work on, but don't tear apart every standard on them. Like just go in knowing these babies are 3 weeks in, right? So like, let's be a little bit gentle, but balance that with some feedback.
Is that
Holy
observation?
Toledo, I made it.
Hey, Jessica,
Yes.
is that observation feedback, is that a form too, or is that on that review form?
No, it's not a form. It's just in your reflection within Canvas.
Okay.
When you're giving them feedback and asking them to reflect on their feedback. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, when something I might say to my candidates a lot is, hey, do you mind if I type while we reflect on this feedback? And so then you can give them their feedback and then catch their reflection within Canvas.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Great question. All right, let's check the parking lot and then we will do our closing. I honestly think this is one of the first trainings I've made it through on time. I'm so proud of myself. I'm growing in my goals. What? All right, so let's see. Parking lot. Nothing. Okay.
Hey, Jessica, I didn't put it in there, and if you've already talked to them about, but do you have a Canvas go over orientation so they know where to find all those forms and all that stuff? Have they already done that, or?
Yep, we went into Canvas earlier.
Okay, I missed that. Thanks.
Yep, and then the videos are going up slowly and surely, so I feel good about it. And I'm open to all of you guys if you can't find something. Because Canvas is not, I don't know what it is about Canvas, but it's not the easiest platform to navigate for some reason, for me anyway. All right, here is our closing. Many of you, this is the first time that you're meeting me. Some of you know me pretty well. And I really, truly believe that everything that we do is connected through humanity. It really is how I live my life. Which means in my trainings, a lot of times personal stories will come up because we're human and personal stories connect to our work. You just have to, right? So I'm going to end with a personal story today. So I'm also going to tell you that in this personal story, God is mentioned and atheists are mentioned, neither in a bad way. It's actually a beautiful story, but I just always have to say that because it's public education. So I'm not proselytizing either way, but it really is a wonderful story about humanity. And I want to leave it with you as you're going into your week. Okay. So last week I did a Coach Institute down in Southern California. And so then I am always legitimately exhausted after a Coach Institute. Like I feel completely drained. So I'm trying so hard to get back home because all I want is my bed because I've been in a hotel all week and then my flight gets canceled. And I'm like, are you serious? Not delayed, but canceled, my connecting flight. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm choosing joy. And then they booked me on another flight, which is great. And then that flight got delayed. And I'm like, finding joy right now. But I was tired and I was dirty. And my toothbrush and my deodorant were in my checked bag. Like I was feeling really bad for who was going to have to like sit by me on the plane. It was a whole thing. But I also talk to a lot of people when I travel just because that's kind of what I do, kind of extrovert. And so I started talking to this man at the gate, but I didn't know when I started talking to him that he was deaf. And so he gets this little texting app out on his phone that he has, and he hands me his phone and he's like, I don't remember his wording, but he explained that he was deaf. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. So I start signing to him and the look on his face is like, what in the hell? And when I tell you I sign, that is a lie. Like, I have the most rudimentary, basic conversational level of ASL, right? And so we start talking in this super broken Jessica ASL, and he's such a sweet man. He is helping with me with my ASL. He's teaching me new words, and we're really having a great conversation. I'm like, how is this happening? And so we're delayed at the gate, and it's like 3 hours later. And we really talked about a lot of deep, like, humanity type stuff in this conversation. And then we get on the plane, and it's Southwest. So you know that you get on like cattle, right? So he's like, okay, go ahead, sit by me, right? And I was like, okay, cool. So we continue our conversation on the plane. And then when we land, I tell him, I was like, I'm just going to drive you to your girlfriend's house. Like, you don't need to get an Uber. It's 2 a.m. I do not want your girlfriend coming out here to pick you up at the airport. So don't come at me. I know it's not safe to put strangers in my car, but I'm also a Marine, so I felt like I could kind of handle myself. So anyways, I drop him off at his girlfriend's house. By now it's 2:30 in the morning. And I'm driving down the 80 freeway to come home. All I want is my bed at this point, maybe a shower and a bed. But then I get this text from him on my phone that I'm trying to read as I'm going down the 80. And I'm not even going to try to summarize this text for you. I'm just going to read it to you. So remember, our conversation in Broken ASL, a lot of the night was about humanity and human connection. So he sent me this text. And he said, a great rabbi was once asked, why did God create atheists? The rabbi said, atheists are the most important example for all who believe in God. When an atheist is moral and good and kind and compassionate, it's not because he believes God commanded him to do so, to be so, nor because he fears any kind of punishment for being bad. An atheist performs acts of righteousness because he knows it is the right thing to do. And where is God in all of this? If he is in the atheist's heart or guiding him, it doesn't matter. The atheist helps regardless. He helps because he believes there is nobody else, no power that can or will act without his own deeds. So when someone is in need in our times of crisis, you shouldn't say, I'll pray for you or may God help you. Rather, in this moment, you should be as an atheist. Believe there is no God who can help and say, I will help you. In this way, the atheist is closest to God, and so must we all be. So again, this is not a religious organization by any stretch of the imagination. I do not want to attach this to religion, but I do want to attach it to humanity. And we're all helping each other, and your little baby teachers need you so bad. So go out there and help them. And do not be afraid to make random connections at the airport, because you never know what will come out of it. So my friends, I am so glad to have met the people I met tonight and to see again my old friends. And I will see you all again on either September 7th or September 21st or 9th or whatever the schedule says. So bye.
Thank you, Jess.